Duskmane and Dawnwing's Necrozma now have brand new special abilities, so let's dive into them. We have the Duskmane here, and as we scroll down, it has Sunsteel Strike. Shines the light of a meteor for 10 minutes, attracts Pokemon found during the day, and allows daytime evolution at night. And then when we go to the Dawnwings here, you'll notice that it's the same thing except for it's nighttime Pokemon and nighttime evolutions. So I'm thinking, let's do this. Let's do it for like an hour. Let's see what happens. And on the upside, these aren't super expensive comparatively to the other adventure specs. But as we use it real quick, we should have the Dawnwings here. It uses the ability, and it looks really cool all in all. I think it looks amazing. And the first thing I get is a Gligar. I am interested if this like matters for movement or not. So I think let's stand still for a second because it is kind of raining right now. It is not exactly the best looking outside. And we'll see what happens. Maybe something really cool comes off of these things that we didn't expect to see. But first, are you good? Haha, no. Well, kind of PvP. I will say the effect looks pretty cool as well. And I just don't know if we have to move or not. Like, I would imagine we probably do. But the Meltan box doesn't require us to do so. So I'm going to hold still for just like 1 or 2 minutes, and then if I don't get anything, then we're gonna head out. Oh my, you don't have to move at all. That is crazy. There's a Lunala here. Lunatone, not Lunala. I'm losing my mind. It doesn't matter. So it's interesting. It just brings things in. You can do this stationary. The downside is it costs you Stardust. But admittedly, it doesn't cost you that much Stardust, so maybe something really cool comes off of these. It would be cool if it was like a daily adventure instance and there was something secret in here. The Cosmog would be a super cool addition, though I highly doubt they're just gonna give out Cosmogs with this, but you never know. And as you can see, we can evolve this Mora right now, and it's very much daytime, so that is really cool. Not that I needed to evolve it, but if you ever wanted to do it on the spot, I guess now you have the ability to do so without having to wait, which in the future might actually be pretty helpful, especially for videos now that I think about it. Now I'm not gonna have to wait until the sun goes down to actually do something. I could just pop this effect. But anyways, there's a Rockruff. That's actually really cool. I'm actually very surprised about that. I wonder if Rockruff can be a Dusk form from these. See if it's the Dusk. It's not the Dusk one, but I mean, we just got a wild Rockruff. That's crazy. Even though it seems like everything's spawning in within a minute, I'm gonna walk real quick and see what happens. Maybe, just maybe, when we walk, more things will show up. But if not, I mean, it is kind of raining right now. It's more sprinkling more than anything else. But maybe I just chill for this a little bit. Oh, there's another Gligar, but I think the same amount of time has passed since the other thing spawned in, so I don't think moving really affects it too much, but it's kind of cool that you have a stationary 1-minute incense. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep walking because I have eggs to hatch, but you know, if we get anything really cool, I'll definitely make sure to show you. So this isn't like super insane, but speaking of Amora, there it is. So you can get Amoras off these things, and I would make a guess that you could get Tyrants off of the sunny ones. So it's interesting, but I'm really hoping there's something like really special in here that we haven't seen yet. Maybe it's too much to ask, but I think this feature would be really cool if it had just something a little extra spicy in there. But Rockruff and Amora are pretty cool spawns. Take a look real quick. This is a 0-12-3. Another unique spawn. We got ourselves a Galarian Zigzagoon. Not exactly something really nighttime related, but it is a dark type, so it kind of makes sense. Pretty cool nonetheless though, because this thing is shiny boosted, so if you don't have a shiny of this is actually pretty helpful. And as I've been standing here, we have another Gligar, which is also a shiny boosted Pokemon, I should mention. And as you can see here, we haven't had much of a spread. We've had Lunatone, Gligar, Rockruff, Alolan Rattata, Clefairy, and Galarian Zigzagoon, and Amora. So far that's all I've seen. I haven't caught everything either because there's only so many Clefairies I really want to catch, but there is some decent stuff in here, but it's not like stellar amazing. So this effect just went live like a couple minutes ago, and I just now thought about how about we check out the Pokemon Go website and see what it says. So it looks like for Sunsteel Strike, it does actually tell you what you get from them. Pidgey, Alolan Executor, which is shiny boosted. You can also get Solrock, Cottonee, Helioptile, Tyrant, Yungoos, Rockruff, and Fomantis. And if you're lucky, you'll find a Rockruff that could be a Dusk form. Then for Moongeist Beam, it looks like there's Alolan Rattata, Clefairy, Alolan Marowak, which is boosted, and that's actually a pretty big one. Hoot, Galarian Zigzagoon, Lunatone, Munna, Amora, and Rockruff, and yet again, you can also get the Dusk form from this. So if you really want to get that shiny Dusk form, these are actually pretty useful for that, but they do again cost Stardust. And to be honest with you, I don't know, I feel like they could have added just something a little extra spicy in there than that, but this is a new thing they could always add to it, hopefully. But it is kind of a fun little thing, you know what I mean? Here's the first Alolan Marowak. Not a shiny one, unfortunately, though, but pretty cool that we get them from here, because now that means you can get a good PvP IV'd one. And these things are really good in PvP, so if you don't have a good PvP one, you should really use this effect. Honestly, it seems like Moongeist Beam is better than Sunsteel Strike, at least when it comes down to spawns, but that's my opinion. We're still gonna use Sunsteel Strike a little bit later, but just saying for now, it's looking pretty heavily good for this whole Moongeist Beam. We've got ourselves another Alolan Marowak, sadly not a shiny one, but also something I wanted to show you real quick is this right here. As you can see the icon in the corner, let's just click on it. It actually tells you everything it brings in. So it looks like the hardest thing to bring in is the Dusk form Rockruff, and then we actually did bring in a normal Rockruff. We've had 2 Alolan Marowaks at this point, and then we've had tons of the rest of them. So interesting, but yeah, I was really hoping it would be something a little bit more spicy, like I keep saying, but let's keep going. Maybe we'll get a Dusk form. We've got another rock ruff, which is pretty exciting. Let's try to catch the thing after we whiff the first throw, but kind of cool. This is our second one. Hopefully this will be the Dusk form. It'd be cool to say that we at least got one during this time, but it broke out and it ran, so we'll never know. That's unfortunate. Yes, I know in the future to use Goldens on every one of those. We're now done with an hour of moongeist beam, but now it's time for some Sunsteel Strike. I've got this one right here. So let's use this Dusk main real quick and use Sunsteel Strike for, again, just an hour, not that long. Let's go, there we go. And while we pop it, we get to see the really cool animation. I will say they did a really good job with the animation. It looks really cool. And admittedly, with the whole sun aura, that actually looks a lot better than the moon aura. Like, it glows more, really shows the Pokemon off better. And as we click on the Dusk main, this is what we get. Pidgey, Young Goose, Cottony, Helioptile, Tyrunt, Fomantis, Solrock, Alolan Exeggutor, and then of course the rock ruffs. See what happens with this one. Personal feelings on this one is that the effect looks a lot better, but the spawns are admittedly a little worse. I think that the Moongeist Beam brings in so many more like boosted shinies. Like if we do a quick click here, the only boosted shinies really are the Alolan Exeggutor and then the rock ruff. Everything else are just full odds. And so far we've gotten 2 Pidgeys, so neat. Well, even though they're not boosted, Sunsteel Strike gave me the first shiny, so that's great. Shiny Helioptile always looks great. I know that we had a research day for this, so this thing has been showing up, and I think this thing also showed up in one of the Go Fests as well, but I don't care. I'm happy to get it, you know what I mean? A shiny for the video, and who knows, might be good. It is weather boosted. So a 655 is going to be, well, not decent, all right. 13, 15, 4. It's, you know, not bad at all. Sunsteel Strike is now officially over, but we did get a shiny, which is great, and I want to give Moongeist Beam one more chance, but I'm not going to do my hundo. I'm going to do this lucky shiny background card one that I got from Zophie in a lucky trade. It's a 15, 13, 12. I do have a 96, but it's got 14 attack, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fuse this one into Dawnwing's version, and I think this is the Japanese Lunala, if I had to make a guess, but it doesn't matter. They were both pretty bad. But as you can see, we fuse it together, and this is actually my first shiny of the Dawnwings, so that's pretty cool looking. I do like it a lot. I think that the shinies look really solid, and I do like that they look different when they're not shiny, but then they kind of look very similar when they are shiny. It's an interesting choice. But with that being said, let's use Moongeist Beam for another hour, and maybe we'll get lucky. Again, there's a lot of shiny boosted Pokemon in this, so we might as well. Plus, this effect looks really cool with the shiny. But it looks like we're starting off with a Clefairy. Fantastic. You know what I'm gonna do right now? I think I'm just gonna sit down for a little bit and just chill. And luckily, we still get spawns while we sit down and chill, so maybe I'm gonna go to a Starbucks or something, and we'll see what happens. Well, unfortunately, the Moongeist Beam didn't bring in any shinies, but whatever. It is what it is. My personal feelings on these adventure effects is that it's a fun addition to the game, but they're really not that spectacular by any means. The ability to evolve a Pokemon at any time while activating this, though, is somewhat useful, especially as a YouTuber, that's very nice, isn't exactly super groundbreaking. And when it comes down to spawns, having rock ruffs that can be the Dusk form is pretty cool, but it doesn't have the same hit as a Galarian bird or something like that. Like, we love the daily adventure incense because we have a chance of getting something super rare. Even though it can run, it's still kind of fun to pop it and hope. And when it comes down to the other adventure effects, they pale in comparison. Like, I am addicted to Spatial Rend. I use it in a lot of big events like GoFest or Community Days, Spotlight Hours. It's a very useful and very amazing effect, and when it comes down to Roar of Time, I use it decently often enough. I don't use it nearly as much as Spatial Rend, but I do like using it, and it has a very good effect, including prolonging the daily incense. So I don't know, it just feels like they could add a little bit to this. Like I mentioned before, a very rare Cosmog encounter would be awesome. Definitely don't give it the same flea rate as a Galarian bird, mind you, but you know what I mean? Like, imagine that would be a way to get candies, a way to get more of them, but it has to be rare. Like, you could go through 5 hours of either Sunsteel Strike or Moongeist Beam, and you might see 1 or 2, you know what I mean? Like, it should cost a little bit when it comes down to Dusk. The one thing I do like is that you can be stationary with it. That's not bad at all. It still brings in things every, like, minute, and some of the spawns are kind of fun. Some of them are shiny boosted, but I just don't know. I think that they could add a lot more to these to make them better. But please let me know in the comments down below what you think of these adventure effects. And while you're down there, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for me, show me some love, and if you want to see even more of my content, I highly suggest this video down here. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.